The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of Lexington Community Radio or its board of directors. The views expressed are solely those of the programmers.
You are listening to Off the Cuff. Now, here's your host, Adam Banks.
Welcome, everybody, to Off the Cuff. I am Adam Banks, coming at you live from Lexington, Kentucky. Thank you for listening to the show, and thank you for tuning in to WLXU 93.9 FM. In addition to listening to us on the radio, you can check out our Facebook live stream at Off the Cuff with Adam Banks, or you can download the Radio Lex app on your smartphone device to listen to us anywhere in the entire country. I am at the WLXU studios here in Lexington, and my co-host Amber is at her home studio at her casa on Belmont Court. Amber, how are you doing?
I love that you call it a studio. It makes me feel so official.
I mean, it's kinda is a studio that you've built.
It really is. It's like a command center.
Yeah, and we don't know how long we're going to be doing this, so you might as well get used to it and make it the best studio that you possibly can make it.
Well, I think I have.
Amber, it's been a very active week for me. I have been playing a lot of golf, probably as you already know. Have you ever played golf before?
I have.
It's one of the most frustrating, but one of the most beloved sports out there. I absolutely hate it and love it all at the same time. So I've been trying to get back into it because since COVID, I've been trying to find ways to keep active, to keep myself busy, because I have to work from home doing everything. And for a while, I was even doing this radio show from home. So I use golf just to get outside. So I decided that I was going to get back into it. So the thing about golf is, if you just look like you know what you're doing, that's half the battle.
Okay.
And I realized that I had to break down and buy me some golf shoes. I just had to. My slides aren't working on the golf course. So I went out to Dick's Sporting Goods and bought me some golf shoes. Just 40, okay. $50, pretty nice golf shoes. And I was noticing there on the wall where I was getting my golf shoes that they have a shoe for everything. They make a shoe for everything. They make a shoe for baseball. They make a shoe for football. They make a shoe for basketball. They make a shoe for golf. And then I started noticing the section where it said tennis shoe. Shoe. You know, they make shoes for tennis, the sport of tennis. But correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if you ever said this growing up, but did you or your parents ever say, hey, go grab your tennis shoes?
You know, we interchangeably use tennis shoes and ball shoes. So it really just depends on what day you catch me. I call them tennis shoes or I call them ball shoes. Right.
Well, tennis shoes, I don't understand why people say tennis shoes, why they're using that word, tennis shoes, the actual brand of, well, I guess it wouldn't be a brand, but an actual specific shoe to describe all of the shoes. So it started making me think about things. It started making me think about all of the things, Amber, that we have been calling wrong our entire life. We've been calling these things wrong. And what I'm talking about is I'm going to give you a list of products where pretty much the brand name has replaced the generic name of the entire product. So some people consider the brand name just as correct as using the general term of the product. For instance, bubble wrap. How many times have you seen a package come in bubble wrap? You know, the things that you pop and you're like, okay, I got to take the bubble wrap off.
Yeah.
It's not called bubble wrap.
What's it called?
Bubble wrap is actually a brand. It's actually called inflated cushioning. So unless you're calling it inflated cushioning, you're calling it wrong. So
I mean, can we see though why people call it bubble wrap?
No, because it's the brand. I think the brand has gotten so popular sometimes of products, it just replaces it replaces the whole entire word of the product. So you kind of smell what I'm stepping in here. You know what I'm about to...
Yeah, I have a feeling that you're about to hammer me with all of these because I have a feeling I'm the person that you were listening to when you wrote this list down.
Dumpster. How many times have you heard, I got to take the trash to the dumpster? It's not actually called a dumpster. Dumpster is a brand. It's actually called a front loader waste container. So unless you have been saying, hey guys, I'll be right back, I got to take my trash to the front loaded wasted container, you've been saying it wrong. How many times, Amber, have you asked somebody, hey, do you have any chapstick?
All the time.
Right. You're actually asking for a brand. You're not asking for a specific product. You're actually asking for a specific brand if you say chapstick, because it's actually called lip balm.
I was going to say, now I do say lip balm a lot.
A lava lamp is not actually called a lava lamp. It's called a liquid motion lamp.
Oh, come on.
A frisbee is actually called a flying disc.
I give up on this list.
A hacky sack is actually called a foot bag. A hula hoop is actually called just a toy hoop. A jet ski that's a brand. Jet ski. It's not called a jet ski. When you're like, oh, I'm going to buy me a bunch of jet skis and just ride around. Well, you're actually talking about a specific brand. If you say jet ski, quit using that as to generalize the product, because it's not called jet ski. It's called a stand-up personal watercraft.
So what you're saying is, if I want to be correct, I need to be like, hey, Banks, do you want to go play foot sack and ride a standing motorized what was it? The jet ski?
A stand-up personal watercraft. And we can play that. We could also play with a flying disc if we want.
And do you have any lip balm or inflated wrap?
So I've got more here. Band-Aid. I actually knew this. I actually knew that. How many times have you said, oh, just put a Band-Aid on it? Just put a Band-Aid. We generalize. We actually call bandages now, because that's what they're actually called. It's called bandages. It's called an adhesive bandage. We actually call all adhesive bandages Band-Aids now, don't we?
Yeah, I mean, but Band-Aid, I usually do have Band-Aid brands, so I think I'm good on that one.
A jacuzzi is called a whirlpool bath. A Kleenex is actually called a facial tissue. AstroTurf is actually called artificial turf. Jumbotron is actually just called a large screen television. Matchbox car is actually just called a die-cast toy.
Okay.
Ping pong, it's not called ping pong. Ping pong is a certain style of table tennis.
Oh, I was going to say, let me guess that one. I knew that one.
Velcro is called hook and loop fastener. A Post-it, it's actually a brand. Those are not called Post-its. They're called sticky notes. Q-tips, you know those things you stick in your ear? Those are not called Q-tips. They're called cotton swabs. And I read that and I started thinking about all those times I was reading instructions of them saying, okay, just take a cotton swab to your ear. And I was sitting there thinking, I don't have no cotton swabs. I just have Q-tips. So this whole time I could have really been using Q-tips, because I actually thought that that's what they were called, was Q-tips. No, those are actually called cotton swabs. Q-tip is just a brand. Photoshop is actually, I can't read that word, so I'm not going to. Well, actually, no. Photoshop is called photo manipulation. I don't know what super glue was called. It's something called something that I can't even pronounce the word, so I'm not going to embarrass myself and try to say it. Rollerblades. Those are not called rollerblades. It's a brand. They're called inline skates. Saran wrap is actually called plastic wrap.
Yeah.
A Speedo. You know, we generalize when we see men in those short little bikini pants. We call them Speedos. Yeah. They're not called Speedos. They're called swim briefs.
Okay.
Popsicle is actually just a brand. It's actually correctly called Ice Pop. Superheroes, that's actually, what it's actually called is superhero. The two-word version of the term is a trademark co-owned by DC Comics and Marvel Comics. So I didn't know that.
I didn't either.
Taser is actually a brand. It's not called a taser. It's called a electroshock weapon. A Walkman is actually called a personal stereo. And finally, and last but not least, whiteout is not called whiteout. It's called correction fluid. Hey, Amber, can you hand me that correction fluid so I can fix what's on my paper?
Yeah, let me grab my lip balm and my foot sack and let me jump off of my stand-up motorized water vehicle.
But
I still said that
it's
right.
amazing the things that we have been calling wrong our entire life, and we don't even realize it. We don't even realize that we're doing it.
Even though you told me this list, I will still probably continue to call things by their original name, because can you see me saying, hey, Adam, can you hand me some of that inflatable packing, whatever you said it was called?
I thought that was fun. I really did. I thought it was fun, and I wanted to share it with everybody. But, ladies and gentlemen, I'm expecting some breaking news to possibly happen while we're on the air, because Andy Beshear, I don't know if he's still on TV announcing what Fayette County Public Schools is doing or what the state of Kentucky is doing as far as opening up the schools. Amber, do you have an update on what he's saying at all, or is that something that I'm just going to have to wait on?
I don't have anything right now, but I will check on all of our breaks.
Okay, sounds good. Well, what I know so far, ladies and gentlemen, is I believe it was either yesterday or a couple days ago, the governor, Andy Beshear, he put out a travel advisory recommending a 14-day self-quarantine for travelers who went to any of the following 8 states. And the reason he picked these 8 states is because these are considered the hotspot states for COVID-19: Alabama, Arizona, Florida, Georgia, Idaho, Nevada, South Carolina, Texas, and Mississippi. Keep in mind, he is not making this mandatory. He is just recommending a 14-day quarantine. Another new rollback the governor has announced is he's saying that he is wanting a cap of 10 people gathering instead of the previous 50 that he set out. So now he's made it a requirement to have only 10 people per space, no longer 50. And I was looking through all of these, and I was looking through what the White House was recommending. The White House is recommending face coverings, 25% capacity in restaurants, and they are recommending that all states close all bars. And people want to give Andy Beshear a bad rep for being very harsh with his closings. If you look at what he's doing right now, he's only doing one of the 3 recommendations from the White House. He's only requiring us to wear face coverings. That's the biggest requirement that he is having us do. And it seems like people still can't get on board with that. They still have an issue with putting on the face mask, Amber.
I was going to say, is that actually a thing? Because I feel like each time I go into places here in Lexington, Kroger, the gym, Walmart, people are still not wearing their masks. So I guess my question to anybody on the show thread, or especially to you, are we supposed to be wearing our masks?
See, I'm guessing that it is. I'm assuming that it is a requirement. But what are you supposed to do if you are an employee and you see somebody walk into your store that don't have a mask on? You're putting yourself at risk. And is it really worth putting yourself at risk by just telling somebody to put on a mask? Because people are crazy. People are crazy. Now, vice versa. I've been seeing cops and authority figures go about this the wrong way. I was reading a story where a kid, I think he was 19, 20 years old, he refused to put on a mask while he was on the beach, and they actually tased the kid and slammed him to the ground to force him to put a mask on. And I was like, that's a little overboard. I don't think the tasing was necessary. Again,
no.
That's big man with a gun to his hip thinking that he's Mr. Big and bad.
They really tased a 19-year-old kid on the beach?
Yeah.
I feel like I remember that. I do.
Yeah. So I don't
know. I'm confused. I guess I'm going to continue to wear my mask to do my part. I just wish that if we're going to tell everybody they have to wear a mask, that we probably enforce it. Now, again, I understand we can't do that. So I'm just going to hope and I guess suggest to my fellow man that we should adhere to the mandates that have been given to us.
Right. And I will say this also, that unemployment benefits end this week, and they are supposed to be paid up till July the 31st, but the way unemployment works is they usually give checks out on Saturdays. And since this Saturday is the last Saturday of the month, they're just going to go ahead and give everybody the rest of their unemployment. You talk about a freak out, and you talk about people really starting to feel the pain of being jobless here in America when that $600 extra a week of federal unemployment money goes away, because people have been used to getting this money now for about 4 or 5 months. And Amber, $600 a week is a ton of money.
Yes, it is.
That is a lot of money. Listen at this study from the University of Chicago. They found a study that 68% of unemployed workers who are eligible for benefits receive more unemployment benefits than their lost wages. So people are making more money sitting at home drawing this $600 extra weekly benefit than what they would going out and working. So this, if anything, these unemployment benefits is discouraging people to go back to work. A lot of people are thinking, well, why would I want to go back and work for the man when I can sit at home and spend time with my family and not put the stress and worry and aggravation on me and make more money? So any idea of a second stimulus or a second wave of unemployment benefits coming around, I am not for that, because that does nothing but discourage the unemployed folks of going out and looking for a job. I hate the fact that you're unemployed, but it's been 4 months. Right now, they're still going to get to draw their regular unemployment, but this little $600 weekly benefit, that's going away. And you talk about people starting to really feel the effects of being jobless. So some people treated their unemployment money, think about this, they treated it like they would a refund check for student loans.
Yes.
They went out and they bought a new car. They'd go out and they'd buy them a new jet ski or what do you call it, actually, a stand-up gliding,
stand-up motorized water vehicle.
Exactly. They bought a lot of things that they could have been saving their money for, and they wasted it. And now they sound like those same students that spend all of their refund check on junk. They sound like, well, this is crazy, they need to extend it. No, you needed to be investing and saving your money, because trust me, that $600 a week benefit could have carried you over for a couple more months if you would have.
Oh, yes.
If you would have just managed it right and spent it like you wasn't going to have it forever.
Well, you needed to treat that additional money like you needed to live within your means. And we both know that a lot of people did not do that. And I hate that. But now I do want to say I know that there were a lot of people that did plan for this. So I didn't want anybody to think that we were continuously going to, down the unemployment. I've done unemployment before myself. I just think that it just kind of shows how we failed as a society, because people do not understand how to manage money. Money management is one of the biggest things we fail at, and it should be something. I think there was a thing on Facebook that went around a while that they needed to put back into high school curriculums, money management. I don't know about you.
Is it Dave Ramsey who has that radio show where he talks about financial advice?
Yes.
He's a little that guy gets on. I like him, and then I don't, because he gets on my nerves. He's like, you know how much you need to put down on a house? 100% down payment. I'm like, well, yeah, Dave. Easier said than done. All right, ladies and gentlemen, stick with us. We got lots more of Off the Cuff coming at you live right after these words.
That don't kill me, can only make me stronger. I need you to hurry up now, cause I can't wait much longer. I know I got to be right now, cause I can't get much stronger. Man, I've been waiting all night now. That's how long I've been on ya.
Welcome back, everybody, to Off the Cuff. Adam Banks here with you, broadcasting from the WLXU studios. Amber Turner is at her house. Kanye West is apparently still running for president of the United States, he says.
Wait, when did that happen? I thought that he said he was not.
He's back at it.
I can't keep up with him.
Amber, I don't know if this is a cry for help or not from Kanye, but I'm worried about him. I'm worried about Kanye's mental health. It needs to be addressed. And when I was reading all of these allegations about Kanye coming out about the things he was saying, I was like, there's no way that this guy can be that crazy. So I got on there and I seen it for myself. I was actually seeing videos of how Kanye was acting and some of the things that he was saying. And I was thinking, why is Kim Kardashian allowing her husband to act like that? And then I started to think, well, you know what, Adam, that isn't fair to say to blame Kim for allowing Kanye West to act like that because, number one, it's hard to get control of a grown human being who is a grown-up and to control him and tell him what to say and what not to say. So it really doesn't matter what she does. I don't know if she tried. Now that after reading about it, I'm hearing that she is trying to address his mental health and she is trying to seek help for him. But what's been happening is it's been in the news because he had his first rally in South Carolina, and he said that, and he was speaking very openly about some very private matters that him and Kim Kardashian had done in their past. One being that him and Kim almost aborted their child, Northwest. He said that Kim had the pills in her hand to abort Northwest, but she decided last minute that she didn't want to. So he let everybody know their business, that they actually considered abortion. He said that she had the pills in her hand. He clarified that he thinks abortion should be legal, but there needs to be more support for those who need it. And he was saying that if everybody has their baby, instead of aborting it, they should get $1 million. Yes. He was also saying things that, like, marijuana needs to be completely free for everyone. So he was showing a lot of erratic behavior. And they were some of the things that he was doing. I even think this announcement for running for president is bipolar erratic behavior. I think that it is. Now, do you remember Kanye West, Amber, back in 2016? He said that in 2020 he planned on running for president. Do you remember that?
He did. I do remember him saying that.
For those who don't remember, I actually have it here on tape. This is Kanye West from the MTV VMA Awards in 2016, where he announces his presidency of the United States.
And yes, as you probably could have guessed by this moment, I have decided in 2020 to run for president.
And here he is. He's running for president. So that also makes you think, well, that's not random behavior. I was actually wondering, and I'll be honest with you, at the start of 2020, when we started talking about the possible candidates to run against Trump, I started thinking, I wonder if Kanye is actually going to go through with it. And here he is. But clearly, people are also recognizing his behavior to not be healthy behavior, right?
I think that people have always understood that he was never in a good headspace. I think that as a society, we always kind of let it slide because, he's Kanye West. He is talented. I will always give him that. He's rich, again, because he's Kanye West. And now he's married into the Kardashian family. I mean, how much more money can you get? I think that a lot of people overlook things that he did because of his wealth and celebrity status. And I think that we're in a day and age now in this, in this moment, we are focusing on, not only inclusion and diversity, but we are branching out into understanding that mental health care is something that we've always been lacking. And I just hope that we continue on this path so we won't lose someone who really has been an influential artist. I will never take that away from him. But I think my grandfather had the best saying for this when I was growing up. He's nuttier than a fruitcake. And I think if we don't get a handle on him, I'm just so afraid that something very negative will happen to him or his family.
Yeah, he is. He's nuttier than a pecan pie, just to be a little bit more specific with it. But he is falling out of the good graces of the Kardashian family because of his erratic tweets. He sent out a tweet that caught a lot of attention when he said, "Kris and Kim put out a statement without my approval. That is not something a wife should do. White supremacy." So he was calling his wife and his mother-in-law, the grandmother and the mother of his children, white supremacist. He is very unhealthy in the head, and for anyone to think that this man is capable for running the presidency of the United States, I mean, what does that say about you? I know what people are saying. People are like, well, look what we have in there now. Fair point. I understand fair point. I get it, and I hear what you're saying, and I understand that. But this Kanye West has flipped his noodle.
Exactly, and for that very point, we don't need to have. We need to get away from what we've got. We don't need to get worse. We don't need to downgrade any more than what we already have.
Right. And I think that, if anything, this run for president, if he goes through with it, and I don't see him going through with it, I think this is going to do nothing but take away votes from Joe Biden, because there's not going to be a Trump supporter jump off of supporting Trump and on to Kanye. There might be a few, but most of the Kanye supporters will be jumping off of the Biden, and that does nothing but help Trump. So this could be a big plan of Kanye's. This could be something that him and Trump has discussed, because remember, he did announce it back in 2016 he was running. He befriended Trump, and Trump befriended Kanye. They've had a relationship for the past 4 years, and now it's just random. He's just randomly saying, "Oh, I'm against Trump now," and he never really gave solid enough reasons to why he's against him, has he? Because now he's just saying that he's against him, and I think it's just doing nothing but going to take away votes from Biden. But how long do you give the Kim Kardashian and Kanye West marriage now that all of this has been laid out? Do you think that Kim's going to stick by her husband through this, or do you think she's definitely going to leave him?
Honestly, I really don't know. As someone who has I hate saying mental disorder, because I feel like I'm characterizing myself, but someone with a mental illness, I'm thankful all the time that I have, my husband. And I like to think that when you commit to someone that up front has a mental illness, you kind of already know what to expect. I think she probably is really shell-shocked right now, because he knows how much she values her brand, and she's worked very hard to build her brand. So honestly, I don't know. I really don't.
It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. All right, ladies and gentlemen, when we come back, I want to give everyone an update on the state of sports, because it looks like that we're going to be getting sports very, very, very soon. Very soon. Sooner than you may think. Ladies and gentlemen, stick with us. We'll be back with the second half of Off the Cuff after these words. Welcome back, everybody, to Off the Cuff. Adam Banks here with you in the WLXU studios here in Lexington. Amber is also joining me. She is at her home studio. All right, before we took the break, I was letting everybody know that sports is in our near future. It has been a while. Amber, it's hard to believe that we have went this long here in this country without the thing that bonds us and brings us together, sports.
I can, I'm not a big sports fan, but I know how bad this has affected you, so I can only imagine how other people feel.
Yeah, not just me. A lot of people, millions of people, this is what they do. This is their life. I think about the summer. I go to Cincinnati Red games all the time. That's how I spend my summer. Going to Reds games, going to Cincinnati, just being outside, being on the ballpark, and not being able to do it this summer. And when I say I go to Reds games, I may go to 3 or 4 a summer. And I think about these men who go to Reds games, these old men and even younger men, women as well, who go to these games and they go to every single game. They don't even go to the bathroom because they're afraid they'll miss a bat. They don't miss a thing. They even have the little headset on their ears so they can hear every play from the radio guy. And those guys, this summer, I really worry about those people. I hope they are okay, because a lot of them, that's what they got up out of bed for. And a lot of them, 75, 80 years old, they probably didn't get out of bed this summer because they didn't have nothing to get up for. That was their life. They've been doing this for years and years and years. So it really has had an effect on people. I said from the beginning in March that when we took away sports, our crime rate is going to go up. I said that people are going to get bored. They're not going to have things to do. So they're going to be doing things that you normally wouldn't see. And the world without sports If you ever wondered what it was like, you've been seeing it. We've not been able to watch a baseball game, a football game, a basketball game, the three biggest sports here in this country in months.
Now, I'm not a sports fan, so I don't know what it's like missing out on sports because I only would sporadically watch. And I know I'm not the only one, so I know you're an avid sports watcher. What's it been like for you?
It really has made me do a lot more self-discovery on the things that I like, the things that I like to spend my time doing. Sports is a really good escape. It's a really good thing to do to pass the time. So when you don't have that anymore, you have to find other things that you're good at. And I found out that I am not good at a lot of things. I try to pick up planting things. I'm not good at planting things.
Hey, how did that cactus ever turn out?
It never even bloomed. It never even gemmed, Amber. It never even gemmed, and that was like 2 months ago. But yeah, it's been rough. But wait no longer, ladies and gentlemen, because baseball starts back today, and it was shortened due to COVID-19. But the baseball season, it's going to look a little different. Each team will play 60 regular season games scheduled to begin today and end on September the 22nd or the 27th. A conventional postseason tournament is then scheduled to begin on September the 29th. The World Series is set to begin on October 20th, and a potential Game 7 would be played in October, and it would actually be on October the 28th. So baseball season has been pushed back, and it's been condensed. It's been limited. So also in an effort to reduce travel, each team will play only 9 opponents over the course of the regular season instead of the usual 19 or 20. Teams are scheduled to play 10 games against each of their 4 division opponents. The remaining 20 games of the 60-game schedule will be interleague contest. So the games that will start today, New York Yankees versus the Washington Nationals. And I believe Dr. Fauci, is that his name? The World Health Organization doctor? He is
the CDC.
Yeah. Well, yeah. He's throwing out the first pitch at that game. And also, I bet you he just seems like somebody who has the weakest throw ever.
Well, I probably should watch that because that'd make me feel better about myself.
Yeah, he looks like a little dork. I bet he probably can't throw a baseball for anything. San Francisco Giants and the Los Angeles Dodgers is the second game playing, and the remaining 26 teams will open the season tomorrow, and I can't wait to watch it. I'm going to a restaurant with my buddy to watch the Reds games. We're going to have on our Reds attire just like we're going to the Reds games. Or to the Reds game. It's going to be fun. I'm not a big fan of the crowd noises that they're inserting into the games. Have you?
Oh, are they going to actually put like background noises?
Amber, yes. It sounds like an old cheesy 1985 sitcom. They're actually putting in sound noises, crowd noises from MLB The Show, which is a video game. So anytime a player hits a home run or I guess if a player almost gets hit with a ball, the crowd's going to go, oh, or ooh. I don't know how. I'm not a fan. I just think it's too fakey. And plus some sports, basketball, which I'm going to get to in a minute because it's starting back very, very soon. Some sports like basketball have even made visuals of people's heads in the audience. It makes it.
Oh, you're lying.
No,
now.
It looks like TV screens of just people. It looks like people are there. It's silly. But the NBA, it was suspended because of COVID, and it plans to restart the season. So they're not starting a brand new season. They're just restarting the suspended season that they had to put on hold. But this time they're going to restart it with just 22 teams playing in the regular season with 8 games per team. The playoffs will be played the usual format as 8 teams from each conference will head to the postseason. So in simple terms, the 22 NBA teams list include the top 22 sides with the best win-loss record this season. So some questions. People may ask, when does the 2019-2020 season come back? And when does it end? It comes back on July the 30th.
Okay.
And the finals won't end no later than October the 13th. So we're going to get baseball and basketball kind of head-to-head. Which teams will be playing? A total of 22 teams will return to play this season, so I feel like it's going to be easier to tell you who's not going to be playing.
That's what I was going to say.
Charlotte Hornets, the Chicago Bulls, the New York Knicks, the Detroit Pistons, the Atlantic Hawks, Minnesota Timberwolves, the Cleveland Cavaliers, and the Warriors will not play.
So the Chicago Bulls are not coming back to play?
No, not this season they're not. And the reason is because of their win-loss record, and maybe it was something because they didn't want to. I don't know. But those are the teams that aren't coming back. Where will the games be played at? The NBA and Disney reached an agreement to have games played at ESPN Wild World of Sports Complex at Walt Disney. So they'll be playing at Disney World. There will be no fans in attendance due to COVID.
Okay.
The medical protocols, because when I saw what are the medical protocols, I was like, I do want to look at this because, Amber, there is no sport like basketball when you're all over each other. I mean, you talk about an anti-social distancing sport is basketball, because when you play basketball with somebody, you are all over them.
I just think of that, what was it, Along Came Polly, when Ben Stiller's playing and the dude's all sweaty and hairy and hits him in the face with his belly.
That's happened to me before.
Oh.
Yeah, it's very disgusting, and you can't help it. And sometimes when it never fails when I play basketball, I'm always playing against somebody who doesn't smell good, and their armpit always goes directly into my face. By the end of the game, I'm making out with their armpit. It's a disgusting sport to play. So when I saw that they're going to have some medical protocols, I was like, what are their medical protocols going to be? So here is what medical protocols the NBA will be taking. It says they will work closely with infectious disease specialists, public health experts, and government officials to establish a rigorous program to prevent and migrate the risk of related COVID-19. So really nothing specific. See?
Okay.
I mean, possibly.
I mean, is there any way that we could suggest maybe everybody has to wear deodorant?
Yes,
protocol?
Please. I mean, that should be for always, people should wear deodorant. But, ladies and gentlemen, it is in the near future. So the playoff format will be the exact same. The NBA draft lottery will be August the 25th. And the NBA draft is scheduled for October the 16th. And the 2020-2021 free agency period will be on October the 18th to October the 23rd. So, and then the 2020-2021 season will likely begin next. Well, actually, the 2020-2021 season will begin December 1st.
You said a lot of 2020-2020s just then.
The 2020-2021 season will begin December 1st. So,
okay.
Yes. So sports, ladies and gentlemen, it is coming. It's something to celebrate for. Baseball starts today, and I'm very excited about that.
I can tell you are.
Yeah, I'm very excited about it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take Off the Cuff's Song of the Week break. I love the song that I have handpicked to play for you guys today. Amber, have you ever watched The Mask with Jim Carrey?
Yes.
One of my favorite Jim Carrey movies of all time. But not only was that movie fantastic, but that soundtrack for The Mask was unbelievable. It was a very smooth, sly, very just make you want to tap your foot type music when you listen to it. So I have from K7, Heidi Ho, ladies and gentlemen, roll down them windows, enjoy the weather, and we'll be right back after the song. I got people on the show thread saying that they haven't ever seen The Mask, and some people are saying that it wasn't even one of Jim Carrey's best movies. Yes, it was. It was actually one of Jim Carrey's best movies. The Mask is hilarious. The Mask.
I just need to know what you were saying the second part was the best, because I hope you weren't talking about Ace Ventura.
As far as Jim Carrey movie goes, I would rank them in no particular order, but his top 3 movies is The Mask, Liar Liar, and Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls, which was the second one.
You really like the second one better than the first one?
Yes, when he goes to Africa and watching Jim Carrey trying to fit in Africa, it's hilarious. It's great.
But what about him talking like a dolphin? I mean, come on. Who else do we know can speak dolphin like Jim Carrey?
I mean, don't get me wrong. There are so many things I love about that movie, like your gun is digging into my hip. There's so many things I love, but...
That's my favorite. That's my favorite.
It's a top 5 for sure of all Jim Carrey movies. Is Ace Ventura 1 is definitely in there. I love those movies, and they're on Hulu right now. Ace Ventura.
Is it Hulu or is it Netflix?
They're on one of the streaming services. I can't keep up with them.
Okay.
Because none of the streaming services that I use are mine. I use different people's. I use everybody's account but mine for these streaming services. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got to take one last break, and we'll be back with our last segment here on Off the Cuff. Stick with us.
Every 10 years, the census comes along, and it seems like everyone I know always asks the same 2 questions. What is the census, and why does it even matter? Let me give it to you straight. The census counts every single person living in America. An accurate count of our community tells us where there are more people. And where there are more people, there are more needs. Our participation could impact how public funding flows to our schools, health clinics, senior care, job training, and housing. It even determines our congressional representation. I don't know about you, but it sure sounds like the census matters to me. This year, take a little time for the 2020 census. You can complete it online, by phone, or by mail, and make sure you count everybody you live with. Your mama, daddy, sweetheart, babies, roommates, everyone. This chance only comes every 10 years, so let's step up and be counted.
Shape your future. Start here. Learn more at 2020census.gov. Paid for by U.S. Census Bureau.
Lexington Community Radio's programming is loved by Sunrise Bakery, serving magic beans and Lavassa coffee, fresh-baked breads, bagels, cinnamon rolls, croissants, danishes, cookies, sandwiches, and much, much more for breakfast and lunch. Sunrise Bakery's breads are served in many local restaurants. We are located at 111 West Main Street, downtown Lexington. Retail hours are Thursday and Friday, 8 to 2:30, Saturday, 8 to 12. We can be reached by phone at 859-255-0304 or at velada.com for more information. Lexington Community Radio thanks Sunrise Bakery for proudly supporting true local radio.
Move like a snake, like a snake. 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 Put your hand on your face.
Welcome back, everybody, to Off the Cuff. Adam Banks broadcasting from the WLXU studios here in Lexington. Amber is broadcasting from her home studio. It seems like that 2020 is full of surprises, Amber. It keeps getting weirder and weirder. Have you heard about these flying snakes?
You know I have, because I'm a snake wrangler.
Scientists are now talking about flying snakes from Southeast Asia. The paradise tree snake isn't new, but researchers have figured out how they can remain airborne for so long. When flying snakes glide, they use something called aerial utilation. And that means that they can actually, almost like what Michael Jordan has when he looks like he's gliding in the air.
Yeah.
They're saying that these snakes in Southeast Asia can pretty much walk in thin air.
Does it say how long they can stay?
It says that their snaky movements help stabilize them and allow the snakes to increase their glide distance. Mm-hmm. It's like that the snakes are swimming through the air, is how they describe it. It says the snakes also spread their ribs, giving them greater wind resistance. So it doesn't say how long, but I tell you this, Amber, I hate snakes. I hate snakes. I think that's a well-documented thing because of this show. And that is my worst nightmare. Could you imagine a snake flying towards you?
Can you imagine a snake in your house?
No. And I think that you have, actually.
I have had a snake in my house twice.
I'd burn that to the ground.
Well, I probably shouldn't do that, Insurance, might go to jail. all of the above.
Well, I think a snake is a good explanation for it. All right.
I'm going to have to look into how long they can stay, how long they can fly. And you said it's Southeast Asia.
Southeast Asia.
Where to avoid.
Yeah, and I don't know if they're going to come over here, but we didn't think COVID was going to come here either. And
we think they're going to be able to fly that far?
I mean, we've heard about hornets, these killer hornets, and now we're hearing,
but they came and went.
And now we're hearing
really
about
quick.
Flying snakes. The worst thing that possibly could be given wings is a snake. I'm telling you, snakes are evil. It is the one thing that the devil chose to be as a snakes are reptiles. What are snakes? I don't know. I know they're not mammals. They're not animals. They're reptiles. They're something. Maybe somebody could help me out there on the show thread. I don't know. But the one thing I do know is that you can listen to all of Off the Cuff's previous episodes by going to Off the Cuff's Facebook page at Off the Cuff with Adam Banks. You can follow Amber on all social media at Ambu447. You could follow yours truly, Adam Banks, on all social media platforms at The Adam Banks. You can listen to all of our previous episodes by listening to our podcast, because we put all of our radio broadcast on podcast if you aren't able to listen to the live broadcast, and you can find those wherever podcasting streaming is available. That is iTunes, that is Spotify, that is YouTube, iHeart, you name it, we're on it. But ladies and gentlemen, we have to take our exit. It's unfortunate. I hate it every time we got to do it. But ladies and gentlemen, I always enjoy it. I always have fun. And because Cassie has never seen The Mask, which I can't believe that. And Cassie says that on the show thread, she says that we should have watched The Mask on the plane that we almost crashed on. Cassie, her and I, I've talked about this on the show before. Her and I was almost in a plane crash in 2013, and I've told people on the air about this, and I've told people in my class, and I've told people about this. Cassie, who's on the show thread with me, she was also on that flight with me, and that's the one thing that we bonded over, was almost dying. So since Cassie, you've never seen The Mask, I'm going to play another soundtrack to close us out. It's another soundtrack from The Mask. I just love the soundtrack. I might download the whole thing on my phone. But ladies and gentlemen, that is Amber Turner. I'm Adam Banks, and this is Off the Cuff. We'll see you next Thursday from 4 to 5. We'll catch you down the road.
I'm just a baby in this business of love.